Dear audience, welcome to my YouTube channel, The World Today. The topic which I will cover in this video, it is implications of American presidential elections on Pakistan and the region. Certainly, United States is still the world's only superpower. It is on decline, but it has a clout. It has economic clout, technological power, influence, military power, influence. As far as Pakistan is concerned, which is a country of 220 million people, it is this world's sixth largest populated country, and it will surpass Brazil soon. So if it surpasses Brazil, Pakistan will be the fifth one. Its geostrategic location, geopolitical setting of Pakistan, and we know very well that since the 50s, the United States and Pakistan have a relationship which has which has experienced several ups and downs all the way since 1950s till today. Pakistan was the member of US sponsored alliance system, Baghdad Pact, which was renamed as CENTO 1954, Southeast Asian Treaty Organization 1955, which was called as the Manila Pact. Then certainly who can undermine the reality that Pakistan became a frontline state for the US in the 50s against communism. In 1979, when the Soviet Union attacked Afghanistan, again a frontline state, and then 9/11, again a frontline state. I don't want to go into details about the dynamics of Pakistan-US relationship, because my topic here is to focus on as far as the implications of American presidential elections on Pakistan and the region as a whole. The first thing which I would like to stress here is the fact that it is for the first time in recent history the Democratic Party, which used to have a tilt in favor of India, is supposedly neutral. And the reason is basically that Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris, Joseph Biden as the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, who is Indian origin, Jamaican, very famous American lawyer and senator, as the vice president. Both Biden and Kamala, they have made it clear in the last couple of months that they do not endorse the ultra rightist, fascist and minority specific policies of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So Democratic Party basically established various policy groups, and one policy group, it deals with Pakistan and Afghanistan and India and things like that. So this is very important to understand that Democratic Party, if Democratic Party wins and Joseph Biden is the president, will not support India as far as Citizenship Amendment Act is concerned, National Registration Certificate issue is concerned, because they have condemned the manner in which the religious minorities in India have been targeted by the BJP, ruling BJP, Shiv Sena and other right-wing parties. So this is one thing which we have to understand, that unlike the past, Democratic Party may not tilt in favor of India. The second thing is Kashmir, which is also very surprising that Joseph Biden has condemned, has criticized the violation or the gross violation of human rights in the Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. They've also criticized the manner in which Article 370 and 35A have been revoked and Jammu and Kashmir has been absorbed within the fold of the Indian Union. So that is something which is very interesting. But then we have to understand that unlike Republican Party under Donald Trump, because we have to bear in mind that Trump has been inconsistent in his policy towards Pakistan. And who can forget the New Year tweet of President Donald Trump, 1st January 2018, in which he said that we have provided billions and billions of dollars to Pakistan, and Pakistan has not been supportive to the US and Afghanistan. And that was very shocking to Pakistan. The sitting American president was so critical and was saying that we should not provide even a dollar to Pakistan. And the fact is that during Trump administration, almost 4 years, Pakistan has got no economic or military assistance from the US. Now, the Democratic Party, unlike the Republican Party, is very much mindful as far as the human rights issue is concerned. And that is where Pakistan may be in trouble. Because there is a policy group, on human rights also, and there are issues. It's not only Pakistan, also in India, there are other countries in the region, the same boat as far as the human rights thing concerned. But since I am referring to Pakistan, that Democratic Party may take a position, may be highly critical as far as the human rights thing is concerned. Now, when Barack Obama was the president for 8 years, he basically unleashed a policy, and that was in 2010. FPAC, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and then the Kerry-Lugal-Bremen bill of $7.5 billion aid to Pakistan. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize. Pakistan requested the US repeatedly to provide the amount which it owed under the Coalition Support Fund. Meager amount was provided to Pakistan. But then we have to understand that if there is a change of guard in the White House and there is a Democratic president, vice president, then certainly it will have an impact as far as South Asia is concerned. But we have to be mindful the fact that election promises, election manifesto, all such initiatives which are taken in the US by Republican Party, Democratic Party, as far as the election program concerned. But once they are in power, they act in a different manner. So it is yet to be seen to what extent Joseph Biden will adhere to his commitment as far as protecting the rights of religious minorities in India concerned, as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, because these are the two issues which are central to Pakistan. Now, there is a perception that since Kamala Harris is of an Indian origin, meaning that her mother from India, father from Jamaica, a Caribbean island, so she will basically provide space as far as the pro-Indian lobby in the US concerned. It may not be true. it may not be true. Because it doesn't mean that if someone is from this background or that background, original background, will side with the particular country or with the particular community, as was accused in case of Barack Obama, that as an Afro-American, he will be soft on as far as the black population of the US concerned. That turned out to be wrong, and he was neutral to a large extent. Now, Afghanistan is certainly a big issue for the US still. Donald Trump, he basically changed the policy which was pursued by Barack Obama. The policy of Barack Obama when he was the president was surge in Afghanistan, surge, to the extent that there were 100,000 American forces in Afghanistan. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he basically favored pull out from Afghanistan. The problem is basically, as Donald Trump, he has almost fulfilled his pledge. There are less than 5,000 American forces in Afghanistan, and he says that by Christmas the US forces will be out of Afghanistan, but then it may lead to a vacuum. Who is going to fill the vacuum if there is total withdrawal of American forces from Afghanistan? And that is what basically the dialogue, the negotiations, the diplomatic initiatives in Doha, in Qatar and elsewhere, that after the American withdrawal, the situation should not revert to what was prevailing after the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan in February 1989. So talks between the Taliban and the Afghan government and other groups, stakeholders. So it will be a big challenge for, if there is a chain of guard in White House, because Afghanistan certainly is a major destabilizing factor. As far as South Asia is concerned, Central Asia is concerned, West Asia is concerned, there is no such overt or clear policy on the part of Democratic Party as far as Sri Lanka, Nepal or these small states are concerned, Maldives and all that. The core states of South Asia are India and Pakistan. And certainly Afghanistan is also very much a test case for the US. So therefore, the implications of American elections on South Asia may have political implications, certainly, in case of Kashmir, in case of the religious minorities in India, as far as human rights situation in Pakistan is concerned, as far as violence in Afghanistan is concerned, there will be implications. But Democratic Party may, if it comes to power, and it all depends on how whosoever wins American election, Republicans or the Democrats, they must have the control as far as Congress is concerned. If Democratic Party wins as far as the seat of president is concerned, if it wins House, it still holds the majority in the House. But if it loses in the Senate, because Senate is as the upper house of American Congress, basically controls foreign policy. All the foreign policy matters, whether you have the Iran nuclear deal or this or that, Afghanistan, India and Pakistan, these countries, it has to pass through the Senate. Foreign aid bill has to pass through the Senate. So therefore, it will be the utmost effort of Democratic Party to gain control of Senate. Otherwise, Joseph Biden may be a very fragile president. He may not be able to make it if he has no majority in the Senate, because in foreign policy matters, it is Senate which decides. Therefore, one can keep fingers crossed as far as the actual policies of either Republican Party or Democratic Party are concerned. But if Republican Party wins again, if Donald Trump is again the president, so there will be status quo. But as far as if Republican Party wins and Donald Trump returns, there will be status quo. And if Joseph Biden wins and controls the Senate and the House, then certainly one can expect far-reaching implications. And the US will be hard on Pakistan, democracy, human rights. Even in case of India, these two countries, the US I don't think will compromise on the pledges which were made by Joseph Biden in terms of Kashmir, in terms of religious minorities in India.